Soliloquy and Speech from the Mayor of Murcia by Sacheverell Sitwell. 1. Soliloquy. The shifting sand lies flat and high as the stand from which an orator sees each human head, a petalled flower turning towards the sun its benefactor. All this I must destroy, beating to a metal disk each feeling flower, to carve it to the leer of cunning, clutch of greed, or smile of sacrifice. I stand here now. This crowd, it seems my duty to command, is still afar off. Yet the sea is here for me to practise on, each wave a hoary head nigh tumbling from its long bent body. Each head with white hair blown by my mouthpiece, the lean hard-fingered wind, grown old because its thirsty hands can never span a shape whose bulk will stop and give it nourishment. So the insensate sea strives on, and when the far wine-stained breath of the sun, panting after his horses, cools the beard and stops the sea-god's conch, then in fury all the mermen thrash their tails and beat their fins together. Always clamour, rattling of pebbles, strife, and the greedy gaping of the quicksands. Now as the shadow of a frown on the face of God is shown by the darkening of a waving cornfield, so, as night damps the gilt glory of the sun, as he stoops like a husbandman to till the earth, mighty sweat pouring from under his gorgeous turban of cloud, the whole great earth heaves a sigh, and all the blossoms of the foam draw in their heads, all the harvest of the untilled sea folds itself to sleep. Then from far off the town raises its domes and spires. They seem a troop of elephants with glittering eyes of glass and swaying castles on their backs. The whole town sways towards me, pouring out its people who gather in the streets. March on. Hubbub throb of drums, clangour and thrash of bells, and the measured march and stamp of feet, a crash of movement on 4 short notes, gestures of a marionette for either arm and both his legs, and trumpet calls forked and quick as lightning, the crowd all gay with colour blown along the road like confetti when a wedding's over, bars of colour, streaks of colour, and sharp notes like a rapier's thrust, and the fevered clanging of the bells rings out still more and more, cataracts, curved blades of steel falling down, down, through ice-cold caverns. The clash of shields when ship meets ship, and the fighters leap from boat to boat, the sea tossing her blue shoulders, and the spray running salt unaccustomed tears down each eager face. The whole wide earth trembles and totters with the stamp of myriad feet, the fret and fury of a mighty army following the foe through a level land. Swift as eagles the Saracen horse fled my army through the sun-scorched sand. The furious trampling of horses stirred the desert, making the sand ring like a trumpet, echoing the hoots, the howls, the heavy stamp of hooves, raising hurricanes of dust to hide the stars. Wind-riven curtains of sand to hide those whirling dancers from our sight. My mind now hovers like a vulture, seeing downstretched before him dim valleys filled with memories, high peaks enreddened by the sunset fires, and gloomy depths clothed black beneath the coverlet of sleep, forgetfulness. And now I hover like this vulture swimming against the star-strewn spaces of the wind, or like a rock stand undismayed the peals, the clattering throbs and splash of foam from all this sea of upturned heads and bodies, all poignant with colour, great waves of sun-touched dyes, as brilliant, swift and shrill as when the sun, with gorgeous fingers, plucks the watery thrill of music from the star-high lyre that echoes from the clouds to touch the earth, all resonant with rippling carillons of rain. And now I have to speak, explain the objects we're assembled for. 2. The Speech. Citizens of Murcia, slaves to these, by my command you're gathered here. I see on every forehead lines of care, each body's bowed and worn with toil. For many years you've laboured, tilled and reaped your harvests, golden corn and vine clusters, ripened with the sun's red blood, and when the burning hours are dead, refreshed with crystal emanation, dew from the hidden stores of water in the earth's black gaping chasms. So in the steady pageantry of years you've garnered treasures, wealth to deck and glorify our town. One part of this, our solemn duty, you've already done. Great girdling walls which circle round the town keep off our foes. A casque of steel upon a warrior's head keeps off all blows as lustily as these star-aspiring towers. And in the evening the droning bells which call to prayer re-echo from the walls and peal aloft among the towers, as in the forest on a summer's evening the tall trees are rudely stirred by rush of winged insects, intent upon their honeyed business. Our walls, then, rise triumphant, and we can turn our energies to other fields. The plain here stretches many a mile, between the town and tawny mountains. The far hills seem battlements of austere hostile towns, and nearer the clouds hang low like beauty-drugged butterflies above the flowering fields. Let us girdle the earth with our handiwork, bind the blue hills with our strength. The firmament shall know our might and skill. Broad roads shall cross the plains, cleave the gold harvest at their will, and clamp the hills down with their might. From the high towers of Murcia the roads shall seem like fluttering pennons tied to lances pointing at the stars. And we will dig canals to bring the sea-salt breath into the land, and heap her shimmering treasures on quays deep laden with the glittering corn sheaves. So then, with holds replenished, our galleons shall sail the seas to distant towns afloat above the tawny sands, like fleets at anchor. And when it's evening, no sound shall mar the cool canals, but they shall stretch like weighty dragnets, and in each mesh you'll see the moon, all silver like a draggled scale, left shimmering amid the drying nets. Now the thin air was torn with cheers, and the fiery fountains of the mayor's speech had set afire the gaping listeners. The swirling smoke of words had blinded every citizen to sober hard reality. Great thoughts, those striding bridges athwart the crystal chasms of our dreams, seemed like accomplished facts, and on the prancing horses of ambition each conscience leaps the river that runs between the thought and fact accomplished. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.